I'm Kelly, otherwise known as Hellion from Hubris, and I did today's introduction to whips, beginner whips. We went through the different types of whips. In case you forget what this one is called, this is a hybrid performance whip. It's somewhere between being a stock whip with the weird joint that we saw, and a bull whip with the integrated handle. There are also snake whips, which have no handle at all. They're all flexible. Cattle whips, sorry, cattleman whips, right?
Stock whips.
Stock whips, no, stock whips I already mentioned.
Cow whips.
Cow whips, with the big long wooden handle that the other part slides into. So different kinds of whips for different needs. Hybrid performance whips are my favorite. We talked about the fact that in order to get a crack, you need to roll it down to the end, and then when it gets down to about here, it breaks the sound barrier. We talked about safety. I'm wearing sunglasses because it's sunny, but I always wear sunglasses or protective glasses of some kind when I'm cracking a whip. I've been doing it for 15 years. I've hit myself in the face more than once. You do not want to lose an eye. Please, please, please use some sort of eye protection. The first crack that we did was called the circus crack.
Cracks versus flicks.
Cracks versus flicks. So, there are two different kinds of ways to make a whip crack. One is to take it and kind of throw it and make it stop. And the other is to put it going in a direction and then bring it back in the opposite direction. So flicks are the ones that we just kind of throw, as opposed to making a full circle and then coming back on it, which is like our circus crack, our overhead crack, the Singleton Special, the Tasmanian cutback that I always want to call the Rhodesian ridgeback. I don't know why. Okay, so our first crack was the circus crack. You want to make sure that your plane on the side is very good. Practice it a couple times. Make sure it goes up and around your arm to make sure that your plane is flat. Really get that whip up there nice and strong so that it straightens out behind you, because we have a seesaw. Wherever the whip is behind you when you decide to bring it forward, that's the other end of the seesaw. If it's way up in the air when you bring it forward, it's going to crack down there. If you wait and wait and wait and wait, it's going to crack up here. If you kind of noodle it and you don't get the whip all the way around, and the whip is here, and you decide to crack it, it's coming down onto you. So give it a nice strong half circle up, and then flick that wrist forward with your thumb up so that it makes that nice round flat crack. That is the circus crack. The second crack that we did was the overhand flick, which I forgot to talk about setting the whip. For the circus crack, set the whip behind you. That's where we're getting the circle from, right? We're making that full circle. Set the whip behind you and then change its direction. As opposed to the overhand flick, where you set the whip in front of you and then throw it like a baseball. As well as the overhand flick, there's also an underhand flick. Lay the whip out behind you, thumb up. Stop your hand when you get it to the end, and then make sure you stop it long enough for the whip to crack before you move your arm upward to get the whip out of your way from hitting you, because it's going to stop and then it's going to recoil a little bit. And you can either take that recoil to put it into another crack. You can take that recoil and just get it out of the way. So, up. Or you can turn that into, if you get a perfectly up crack, you can do the calf and cow, which was our next one. So it was a underhand flick followed by a circus crack. So the calf is the little one and the cow is the big one. From there we went into the power crack. So over your head like you're swooning. We're swooning. Give me a good helicopter. Nice flat plane. We're on our ceiling plane now. And then when we get here, with your forearm across your head, we are cutting that circle in half again, right? We would get to here, and normally we'd have to do this weird thing with our wrist to come around to continue that motion. And instead, you flick it down. Thumb down on this one. The other ones are usually up. Turn your whole hand down Your thumb's going to be up over here. Turn it down so you get that nice loop. From here we also did body wraps. Make sure your whip wraps you a couple of times and leave yourself enough room to actually get out of it. If you put it right up against your body, you won't have enough room. So make sure it wraps you a couple of times before you get out of it. And from here you can go into things like the power crack. So, circus crack, calf and cow, overhand flick, underhand flick, power crack. We did the side crack, which is just another kind of flick, like Elvis does. Get the hips into it, and the shoulders as well. Like throwing a baseball. Stop it long enough for the motion to get all the way to the end of the whip, and then bring it up and around. What else? We did the Tasmanian cutback. Up behind your back, you're making your plane flat in your back wall plane, the weirdest of all places. And then when your hand is approximately in this position, you will bring it straight out. Just like the overhand power crack and the singleton special that Ben showed us.
I can show it again.
That Ben can show again. It's the same, cutting that, and just like your circus crack on the wheel plane, it's taking that circle and cutting it in half. Oops. Singleton special.
And I can show the.
I don't jump.
figure eights.
Slow figure eight and fast figure eight.
Hi, I'm Ben, or Hobbit. I help teach the Internal Whips class. So one thing we showed just for reference, there's a lot of things that you can do on your wheel and front and ceiling planes, but you can involve the floor plane also, and it's a move called the Singleton Special, that you are making a circle.
Rectangled.
Indeed. You make a circle across your body,
There you go.
and then you crack it under your feet. But then we showed from the circus crack, there's a slow figure eight. So you're going to crack it. It's going to be laying in front of you. Bring it up in front of your body and do a circus crack on that side. Same wheel plane. I'm not changing where it is on the side of my body. You can even do this in front of you like a windshield wiper. So that's a slow figure eight. There's also a slow figure eight from the power crack. And then we also showed but didn't get into volleys, which is a set of fast figure eights. So once you can do a fast figure eight, so slow figure eight, fast figure eight, you can get into doing volleys.
Okay.
Good?
Yes. Hold on. Don't leave.
Okay.
So again, I am Kelly, otherwise known as Hellion from the Fire Troop Hubris, H-V-B-R-I-S, Hubris like the Greek. This is Ben, otherwise known as Hobbit, from the same Fire Troop Hubris. If you have any questions, comments, obscene gestures, anything you need to reach out to us about, please feel free to email hellion@hubris.org, H-V-B-R-I-S, or hobbit@hubris.org.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks.